You know that feeling, right? You're at a big gathering, but instead of being in the middle of it all, you find yourself on the sidelines, just taking everything in. Maybe you're the one who always notices when a friend is having a tough day, even in a super crowded room. Well, if that sounds like you, then this is for you. We're going to peel back the layers on the science of being that quiet observer, and, spoiler alert, it might just be your hidden superpower. So, picture this. You're maybe an hour into a party, a concert, whatever, and your social battery isn't just low, it's completely dead. You're done. But you look around and your friends, they seem to be feeding off the energy, just getting warmed up. You gotta wonder, what is going on here? Look, the first thing we usually jump to is, oh, I must be shy, or this must be social anxiety. But what if it's not that at all? What if the answer is something way deeper, something that's actually hardwired right into your nervous system? Okay, to really get this, let's put ourselves right in the middle of one of those high energy situations. Imagine you're at that party. For you, it's not just one conversation or the music in the background. Your brain is trying to process, well, everything, all at once. You're noticing things like the way the overhead lights are buzzing just a little too loud, or how the reflections are bouncing off every shiny surface. Even those little decorative lights in the corner feel like they're strobing right in your peripheral vision.
And then there's the noise. It isn't just a general hum. No, your brain is trying to make sense of the music, plus the story the person next to you is telling, and that other conversation happening right behind you, and the laughter from across the room. It all just smashes together into this wall of sound.
On top of all that, people are just everywhere, moving, weaving, bumping past you, and every single movement is another piece of information that your brain feels like it has to track and analyze. It's just a constant, unpredictable flood of data. So here's what's happening inside your body while all that's going on. This sensory bombardment isn't just annoying. On a primal level, your nervous system can actually read it as a potential danger. That kicks off a low-grade stress response. Your muscles get tight, your heart might beat a little faster, and being in that constant state of alert, it is physically exhausting. Because this whole experience usually leads to us pulling back or wanting to leave, we get hit with all these labels that just don't really get to the heart of it. Yeah, have you ever been called any of these? The thing is, these words, they totally miss the point. They're describing the behavior, leaving the party early, but they completely misunderstand the cause. The reason isn't that you're not interested in people, it's that you're literally overloaded with data from the environment. So if it's not just being shy or anxious, then what in the world is it? Well, science actually has a name for this, and honestly, it reframes the entire experience. Let's dig in. And here it is, high sensory processing sensitivity, or HSPS. Now this is the crucial part. It doesn't mean you have superhuman senses like eagle-eyed vision or amazing hearing. It means your brain takes in the same amount of information as everyone else, but it processes that information more deeply, more thoroughly, and with way more detail. So how does that lead to feeling so overwhelmed? Well, it's basically a four-step chain reaction. First, all that stimuli, the lights, the sounds, the movement, it all comes pouring in. Second, your brain, which is wired for this deep dive, starts analyzing every little bit of it. Third, that intense processing uses up a massive amount of your mental bandwidth. And finally, once that bandwidth is totally maxed out, your body's stress response kicks in and says, all right, we're done here. And this right here is a really, really important shift in how we think about this. Feeling this way isn't a sign of weakness. It's a state of saturation. You're just full. This also helps clear up a super common mix-up, introversion versus sensory sensitivity. They're not the same thing. Introversion is all about how you recharge your energy. Do you need alone time or time with people? But sensory sensitivity, that's about how your brain processes the world around you. You can be a total extrovert who absolutely loves being around people, but still get completely overwhelmed in a loud, chaotic setting. So here's the bottom line. When you feel that powerful urge to step outside for some air, or find a quiet corner, or just head home, you're not being antisocial. Your nervous system is just trying to find its balance again. It's an act of self-care, not rejection. Your body isn't asking for isolation, it's asking for regulation. Okay, now for my favorite part. Because this exact trait, the one that feels like such a liability in a noisy bar, is actually a legitimate superpower in so many other parts of life. Let's talk about the upside. Because you process everything so deeply, you naturally develop some incredible skills. You pick up on the smallest shifts in someone's tone of voice or body language, which makes you incredibly empathetic. You see connections and patterns that other people miss, which is amazing for creativity. You notice the tiny details, making you super insightful and observant. I mean, think about that. Your brain is literally built for depth in a world that often just skims the surface. Your ability to process things so thoroughly isn't just different, it's incredibly valuable. So, if you only take one thing away from all of this, please let it be this. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You're not too sensitive. You're not broken. Your nervous system just operates on a different setting. It's tuned to high definition.
And that really leads us to the most important question, doesn't it? Because understanding all this isn't just about feeling better, it's about empowerment. Now that you know how you're wired, how are you going to lean into those incredible strengths? That empathy, that creativity, that insight? How are you going to build a life that honors your system while also using its amazing gifts?